Then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there would no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Antichrist comes and stops the daily prayers and sacrifices, declares that he is God, standing in the temple of God, demanding to be worshipped as God. That will be the halfway mark of this 7-year period. The Jews at that time will discover that they have been deceived. They have celebrated this man who helped them to build their temple as their Messiah. A very interesting thing, we were over in Israel talking to some of the Jews, and we were asking them, why is it that they rejected Jesus as Messiah? And they said, because Jesus declared that he was the Son of God. We do not believe the Messiah will be the Son of God, but he will be a man. As Moses prophesied, and there shall come a man like unto myself, and to him you shall give heed. And so he will be a man. I then asked him, if he's a man, how will you know he's the Messiah? And they said, he will lead us in the rebuilding of our temple. And I said to them, you don't know how ripe you are for deception, because the man who's going to come and help you in the rebuilding of the temple is the false Messiah prophesied in the scripture. As Jesus said, I came in my Father's name. You rejected me. Another is going to come in his own name, and him you will receive. They will really believe that this man is the Messiah until he comes to the temple, stops the daily prayers, stands in the temple and declares that he is God and demands to be worshipped as God. That will be the eye-opener to them. And at this point, their eyes will be open, and Jesus warns them, flee to the wilderness. Don't bother to go home. Get to the wilderness as quickly as you can. And so we read in Revelation, the next chapter, and we'll get this, we'll be talking about this next week. But the woman who is Israel fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her for 1,260 days. That's that half of the year that we told, that the latter portion of this 7-year period. And this latter portion is the desolation, is this great tribulation that Jesus said is unequal to anything in history that will be taking place this last 3.5 years of this 7-year cycle that God has established for the nation of Israel. In verse 13 of chapter 12, and when the dragon, that is Satan, saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman, Israel, which brought forth the man-child Christ. And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times, a year, 2 years, and a half of time, or 3.5 years, from the face of the serpent. And so they will be there in sheltered in the area of Moab. And we do read in Isaiah 16, send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land from Petra, Selah, to the wilderness unto the mount of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of her nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Arnon, the river, and take counsel, and execute judgment. Make your shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. And the Lord is saying to Moab, hide my outcast, betray them not that wander. Let the outcast dwell with thee, Moab, be a covering to them from the face of the spoiler of the Antichrist, For the extortioner is at an end, and the spoiler ceases, and oppressors are consumed out of the land. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 8, Daniel said, I heard, but I did not understand. So I said, my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? That is, the end of man's ruling over the earth, the time of the Gentiles, what will be the end? And he said, go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. In other words, you won't understand it now. These are truths that will be understood at the end times. Many will be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked will understand, but the wise will understand. From the time that the daily sacrifice is taken away, that is 3.5 years into the 7-year period, and the abomination which makes desolate is set up, that is the image of the Antichrist in the temple, there shall be 1,290 days, or again the 3.5 years plus a little. This abomination that makes the desolate is when the Antichrist does come to the rebuilt temple and seeks to be worshipped as God. Going to the 13th chapter of Revelation, verse 11, we have now the false prophet, and of course we'll get this in a couple of weeks. But I beheld another beast that is coming up out of the earth. The Antichrist comes up out of the sea. This other beast comes up out of the earth, or out of the multitude of men. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. And he exercised all of the power of the first beast, the Antichrist, before him. He caused the earth and those that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and he did great wonders, so that he made fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. He deceived those that dwelled upon the earth by means of the miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the Antichrist, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live, and he had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast, that they should be killed. Incidentally, as we get to further on in the book of Revelation, chapter 14, we read that if anyone worships the image of the beast, they have forfeited their rights forever to enter into the heavenly kingdom. So, if you don't believe what the Bible tells us is coming, when you are listening to this tonight and you say, oh, I don't believe that. When you see these things come to pass, and you see the temple rebuilt, you see the people worshiping again in the temple, and then this leader of Europe coming, stopping the worship, and standing in the holy place declaring he is God. Make sure that you don't worship him or worship his image, because you are forfeiting your rights forever to the heavenly kingdom. Now, I don't recommend that as something that you should do. Well, I do recommend that it's something you should do if you're here, but I'm recommending you not be here when that happens. And so that basically gives us a little bit of insight as far as the future is concerned. So now, moving to verse 3, chapter 11, and I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy again 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. So during this period of time, the Lord is going to send two